But at what point do we call something an addiction?
Okay, so when does it become really excessive and problematic? Well, we partly define that by when people spend a lot more time on the activity than they meant to spend, that there's a feeling of compulsion. They're compulsively seeking it out, despite knowing that there are very negative consequences with, for example, money lost from a gambling addiction or health problems from a drug or alcohol addiction. And then also there are other characteristics where people tend to develop a tolerance for the particular drug or behaviour, so they need to engage in it more to have the same effect, or they experience withdrawal without it, meaning can feel very irritable or anxious or uncomfortable, having a craving to engage in that behaviour or take that drug again. And by definition, it tends to have some negative impact on areas of our life such as health, work and relationships.
Well, I remember one thing that you told me once about addictions, in that there can be a bit of a clue in the name in terms of addiction. The word diction obviously like to speak sort of thing, but addictions can relate to what we tell ourselves. So it can almost be like a narrative of, when I go home or when I go to bed, I'm going to have a pint of beer next to me, or I'm going to have a cigarette at this point of the day sort of thing. So I wonder if part of an addiction is almost some of the reliance on, whether it be a substance, whether some of that creeping into our self-talk relates to the point of an addiction.
Yes, very much. I think it is to do with our self-talk. So we would tell ourselves, like our diction or self-talk will be, I need this, I have to do this, I must do this, I can't help but do this. And so it's as though we've been bitten by some kind of bug that makes us do things a certain way, or there's been a kind of spell that's cast on us and we can't do anything else. Now, if we have that kind of self-talk of thinking we need something, then the notion of need is different from want or prefer. If we tell ourselves, I have to do this or I have to have this now, well, the word need relates to old words to do with life and survival, death, life and survival. So it kind of says, I need this. So saying to yourself, I need this means I need it for my survival or happiness rather than a preference. And if we get into that kind of self-talk of thinking that we need something at that point in time, it's going to be very, very hard to resist it. As opposed to, I want it, I prefer it, I might even have a craving for it, but I don't have to have it. I can do without it.